Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/spookshow. Then go over to morbidlybeautiful.com as we are now part of the Morbidly Beautiful Podcasting Network.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
You float too! You float too! You're too!
Everybody here dies by dawn. Dead by dawn!
Welcome to the Spook Show. Hello, welcome back to the All-American Spook Show podcast. I'm Josh, and I'm joined here with Donnie.
Yo.
The Smokes, both of them, are on assignment. Actually, with this one, they got some stuff going on, but the professor didn't even get a chance to watch it. So, you know, odds of you hearing him have anything to say about it are probably slim anyways. But I do have Tiana's rating for the movie, and she also gave us the kill count, and we'll get to that towards the end of the show. But today we're talking about Sinners from just last year, 2025. The main reason that we're doing this, just like last week when we talked about Frankenstein, you know, last year's Frankenstein from Guillermo, God damn it, I did it again. Guillermo del Toro. I don't know what it is about that. I can't say Guillermo.
I can't say it
when
either.
I'm saying his whole name. Del Toro. Basically, like, both those movies were not only were huge horror movies last year, but both have racked up the Oscar nominations. And the Oscars are this weekend, this Sunday, March 15th. So we figured we'd hit Frankenstein last week, and we're hitting Sinners this week to kind of talk about those, give our thoughts, and then kind of give you a little bit of an Oscar preview. Obviously, it's very rare that we're able to talk about horror movies at this level.
Yeah.
And it's not unusual for, say, a couple horror movies to get some nominations. Although, you know, historically, it's probably few and far between, right? The amount of horror movies versus Oscar nominations is very slim, but very rarely do we get two movies, but specifically this movie, Sinners, that has so many damn nominations for a horror movie, right?
Yeah, it was actually the most nominated movie, not just horror movie. The most Oscar-nominated movie of all time.
Yeah, so not just this year, but ever. And that's insane. That really, I mean, that's crazy. And we'll get into whether, you know, we love and hate this movie and all that jazz. But after watching this, it's hard to see what the Oscar hype is to some level. I mean, I can see it there, but also to that level.
Yeah, like the most nominated ever.
That's putting it in the same breath as like some of the greatest movies ever made. When you're talking like that. I mean, because they've had the Oscars damn near as long as,
I mean, movies
have, been a thing. This is the 98th Academy Awards this year. So basically for the last 98 years or so, whatever it is, there have been Oscars, and you're telling me this movie is the most nominated? That's crazy. On the other hand, it's really cool because it's a horror movie. Obviously it's a African-American centric cast, right? Probably 95% of the cast is black.
Yeah, and really just you think, we say the most nominated, but what are those nominations? It's up for Best Picture, it's up for Best Supporting Actor,
which obviously Best Picture is the biggest.
Actually,
one.
I'm sorry,
that's the big one, but
yeah, not Best Supporting Actor. I'm sorry, it's Best Actor. With Michael B. Jordan.
Yep.
It's up for
I think it is I want to say a Best Supporting Actor for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I've got the list right here. It's Best Casting. Yeah, I'll just run through all of them real quick. Best Casting, Best Achievement in Cinematography, which I could definitely see that. Best Achievement in Makeup and Hairstyling, Best Achievement in Music Written for Motion Pictures, so original score. Best achievement in music written for motion pictures, original song. So not only the score, but a song. And that's the song I Lied to You. Best sound, best achievement in visual effects. Best picture, like he said. Best director, Ryan Coogler. Best leading actor, Michael B. Jordan. Best actor in a male supporting actor, Delroy Lindo. Best supporting actress for Wunmi Masaku. Best original screenplay, Ryan Coogler again. Best achievement in production design, best achievement in costume design, and best achievement in film editing. So I guess really the story is, how many of those do you think it brings home? Now we looked it up. So altogether, what I just read, that's 16 nominations. So that's the most any movie has ever been nominated at the Academy Awards. The record for actual wins is 11. And that is 3 movies. Only 3 movies have ever done that in the entire 98-year history of the Academy Awards. Ben-Hur in 1959, Titanic in 1997, and The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. That was the third of the Lord of the Rings movies. And what I remember about that was kind of like a culmination. You know, like all 3 of those movies were so awesome that like they just poured all the praise on the third one with all those Oscars. So not that the first 2 didn't win Oscars, but yeah, just that one movie won 11 Oscars. So I guess the question is, do you think it will take home? I mean, it's nominated for 16. Do you think it will take home 11 or more? I guess that's the betting odds, right? Does it take home? Does it tie or break the record for actual wins?
I'm not a good judge for Oscars. You know what wins or what doesn't. I guess we'll get to our thoughts about it, but I mean,
I guess the answer to that question is tied into what we think about it, right? So maybe we'll save that. But what it is going up against in the big category, Best Picture, is Begonia, F1, which I think you said you did see that.
Yeah, I love that.
Frankenstein, which we just talked about last week, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, and Train Dreams. Which you got me on that one. I've heard of that one. I have seen One Battle After Another, and that is an awesome flick. And it is, by the latest Vegas odds, so to speak, is the favorite to win. Now, you know, reality, who the fuck knows, but it is the betting favorite. One Battle After Another to win, followed second by Sinners. And then I think it was, what did I say? Marty Supreme, I think was the third favorite, you know, in the Vegas odds. But you could argue, though, those are probably, out of those movies, other than F1, right, all the ones that I just said, those are probably the movies that people saw. So, right, that's probably where your Vegas odds lie, are the one, because, you know, I don't know how many people, you know, other than, you know, cinephiles, are going to go out and see Begonia or The Secret Agent or Train Dreams, you know? So, not to knock those movies, I'm sure they're fine for what they are, but, like, let's face it, like, F1, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, are probably and Sinners are probably the ones that made the most money. And then Frankenstein probably got the most eyes to it, arguably, because it was on Netflix, you know, basically from day one. So, you know, you would think those will probably be your betting odds. But who knows, right? I mean, we talked about Frankenstein last week, and we all enjoyed the hell out of that. You can go listen to the episode from last week for all of our thoughts on that one. But we gave that one a consensus of 4.1 out of 5 stars. So we will see where Sinners lands. I don't think it's going to be that high, but, you know, the Academy versus what we think of it and what, you know, the general populace thinks of it are 2 different things, right? Also, too, Sinners was the most, not only is it obviously highly rated, everything we were just talking about, but I'm pretty sure it smashed the horror box office last year. Like, I don't know how many movies came even close to what Sinners made in the box office last year.
Yeah, what was that?
It ended up making, on a budget of $90 million, it ended up making a worldwide gross of $370 million, which is, you know, we're not going to compare that to the latest Star Wars movie or something like that, but horror wise, that's pretty big. I mean, it doesn't come close to like It or some of the biggest of all time, right? I think both those It movies did really well, but there's a handful of others, but yeah, 370. And I don't think there was another one close last year at the box office, horror-wise. So very successful. Obviously, tons of nominations, major box office. So let's get into it. You know, see what now is my first question to you, Donnie. Is this the first time you watched this, or had you seen it?
Yes,
before?
I wanted to check it out in theaters, and actually, as recently as last week, it was still playing in you know, like one screen, like right around here.
It's not unusual for them to re-release Oscar favorites this time of year. So I think there's a few of them, not just this one, that are kind of playing like, you know, having like a little small second run right now during Oscar season. But this is the second time that I watched it, because I saw it. I did not see it in the theater, but I watched it not long after it hit streaming, or, you know, wherever it came, not long after that. And that in itself had been a while. Like, that was early last summer or something like that. That had been a while since I watched it. So I decided to watch it again, see how I felt about it this time around, whether, you know, better or worse or anything like that. And, you know, obviously we'll reveal that later on in the show, how I liked it then compared to now. But this is pretty funny. I found 2 different names for it when I was looking up, you know, alternate titles. Mm-hmm. It's also known as Blood and Sinners over in Europe, like various countries in Europe, which that's a pretty good title.
I mean,
Blood and Sinners, basically not too far off from what it is, but not a horrible title. But this one's hilarious. There was a fake working title, which this isn't unusual when they're making a movie. Famously, Star Wars was called Blue Harvest or something like that.
Yeah.
This one was called Grilled Cheese. I don't know where the fuck.
That's awesome.
Talk about taking you far away from what it is. Like, oh, they're not going to suspect a thing. We're making a movie. Who makes a movie called Grilled Cheese? You know, like, and really mean it. But yeah, I guess if somebody's sniffing around for information, and who gives a fuck about grilled cheese? Let's go look over here. Except us, we will.
Yeah,
we will.
Unless they make hot chili too.
If you tell me like Blue Harvest is shooting over here or Grilled Cheese is shooting over here, I'm gonna go to the set of Grilled Cheese to see what the fuck that's about. That's what I would do, but whatever. It premiered April 3rd of last year, 2025, in New York City. That was this big world premiere. Then it was released wide here in the U.S. and various other countries on April 18th of 2025. Now there were like preview showings on, you know, the night before, but that's not unusual these days. It was produced by Proximity Media, distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures. Of course, if you've ever seen this, and by the way, we hope you have, but if you have not, please hit the pause button now and go check it out, because we are going to spoil the shit out of this movie for you. So if you want to see Sinners, have not seen it yet, you might want to hit pause on this, go check it out, and then come back and see what we had to, you know, our ins and outs and what we thought about it and all that jazz. We always warn you. Anyways, this movie is rated R. If you've watched it, you know it earns that. Total runtime of 2 hours and 17 minutes. So it is, you know, by probably on average 45 minutes longer than our usual fare, right? Give or take.
Yeah.
It's long. On IMDb, it's listed as an action, drama, horror, music. Not a musical, but music. I guess it's just kind of like the subgenre to the left of musicals is music. Because this is not a musical, but their music plays a huge part into this movie for sure. It was filmed in the New Orleans, Louisiana area from April 14th to July 17th of 2024 for a budget of $90 million. Like I said earlier, worldwide gross of just over $370 million. So as usual, when we got the top 10 in the box office, we go through it. Here we go. So this is actually, it released on Easter weekend last year.
Yeah. So we're almost.
Yeah, almost there. Yeah, about a month away, give or take, right? Whenever Easter is. Easter kind of moves around. But last year, Easter weekend was on April 18th through the 21st. That's the 4-day, 4-day weekend overview. That weekend, let's see, number 10, Snow White. I think that was the, what do they call those? Like
the live action.
I'm sorry. I was going to say real life, but that didn't sound right. Live action remake of the classic animated Disney feature. Number 9, The Chosen Last Supper Part 3. You got me. Number 8, Colorful Stage, the movie, A Miku Who Can't Sing. That was the opening weekend. I do not know what the fuck that is. That sounds like it. Maybe it's like
maybe an
anime or some kind of K-pop. No, God knows. Who knows? Number 7, Pride and Prejudice. That was the 20th anniversary re-release. By the way, you notice like when we look at the box office the last few years, like there's always like some re-release or a concert in the top 10. So I think you got pretty much both examples of it right there. I don't know what that says, but it's almost always there. Like people go and see these re-releases in droves, but yet, you know, original new movies don't even crack them. Number 6, Drop. I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Number 5, Warfare. That was an A24 flick. Number 4, The Amateur. Number 3, The King of Kings. That was in its second week. Number 2, a Minecraft movie was in its third week. Now, I did see that.
Oh.
Yeah, I did see that. That was we took the kids to see that. That was pretty good. And number 1 in the box office, by a fairly close margin to a Minecraft movie, was Sinners. It made $55.8 million in its opening weekend. That's a pretty big fucking haul.
Take the kids to see that too?
Yeah, it was a double feature of the Minecraft movie and Sinners. Sinners. No, we didn't do that. We did not do that. So there's your box office snapshot. I've got a little bit more here. The the director, writer, and producer of this, so it's totally his baby, Ryan Coogler, who you may recognize from the 2 Black Panther movies, Black Panther and Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And he also did the Creed trilogy, I believe, at least the first one, but
Yeah,
I'm sure if at the least he had producing credits on that. So the Creed trilogy is his. And I did see that, once again, that's Michael B. Jordan, which is in this too, right? But, which by the way, they work a lot together. Like, obviously Michael B. Jordan was in the Black Panther movies too. And I think there's other ones like Fruitvale Station, I think he was in, right? And they've worked together on stuff. But, I did see that there is going to be a Creed 4. Apparently it's in pre-production. So there's going to be another one of those, which I assume Coogler and, Michael B. Jordan are involved in again, at least as producers. But have you seen any of those Creed movies?
I've seen the first one.
Yeah. I saw the first
think
2.
I've seen
I
the
still
first-
have not seen the third one.
I want to
I know
say
that.
I've seen the second one too, but
I guess right here's a good enough time as any. What do you think of just based on those 2 Black Panther movies and the Creed trilogy and now this? Where do you think Ryan Coogler stands as far as like, not just as a black director or,
just as one of the greats.
yeah. I mean, you'd have to at least, he's starting to enter the conversation. I mean, he's still got a long way to go, but I mean, to catch up on some of the greats like Spike Lee and a handful of others, but like, I think he's starting to lay a pretty good foundation here, right?
Yeah.
Money wise, for sure.
Oh, no doubt. As far
Money-wise,
as highest grossing directors, just directors, period.
Period. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And also, like, I'm not claiming to be, an expert in, directors at all, because I mean,
It's probably more smokes purvey.
yeah, but no, I mean,
like I said, I at least you could say off to a good start.
yeah,
I mean, you can't put him down as the Martin Scorsese of generation or something like that yet. But
yeah, my thing is like I don't really, and call this what you might, but I don't really pay attention to the directors much, as far as like the as somebody who used to work in the industry, I'm just a fan. If
especially when I was working in it, I didn't talk to the director or wanted nothing to do with him.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, I'm just a fan. If I enjoy the movie, I'm gonna sing its praises. But, I just don't.
And I get that basically
Just a
judging a film on its own merits and not, but you have to admit, like, there's some that you look forward to when you hear, like, Quentin Tarantino's got a new one coming. Oh shit, I got to check this out, right? Or
yeah, that's true.
Steven Spielberg. There's certain names where you're like,
and
you're going to give them some.
To me, it used to be the Coen brothers, but now it's less. They're to me they're not. It's not really a movie.
Yeah. Maybe they've taken a step back or something.
I'll wait for it to come out on streaming.
Yeah. Tarantino for me is one of those, like, whenever his shit's coming, like, oh, here we go, I mean, hell, I still haven't seen it yet, but I want to see Send Help, which, just came out like at the end of January. Sam Raimi. Like, he's another one, like, I will give him a chance because it's him.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So there are certain ones, I guess what I'm getting at is, like, Ryan Coogler is probably starting to enter that conversation of like, okay, well, he's attached. It's probably going to be pretty good. So, you might want to go out of your way to see that kind of thing.
Yeah, because, I think people subscribe to the it's not really a theory, but the, your name holds value. Your name means
absolutely
something.
Your reputation.
Yeah. And then, you want to attach it to projects that you resonate with. And that is, going to, be a solid representation of your influence.
Yeah. Yeah. Like once again, I'll mention Tarantino, like, what to expect from his stuff. So there's a high bar, and he rarely does not deliver. So he has consistently kept up that reputation or that bar to where, like, like if his stuff comes out, it's going to be really good. I'm probably going to enjoy it. Now there are varying degrees of that with anybody, well, I like this one a little bit better. There's always a ranking list or something like that.
Yeah. If it's Samuel L. Jackson, chances are high. He's going to say motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. You know what to expect.
Yeah.
And I think Ryan Coogler is probably starting to enter that conversation. Like, okay, this is probably going to be pretty good. So, strap up. But it stars Michael B. Jordan as, now this is the interesting, I think one of the more interesting aspects of this is not only the job that Michael B. Jordan does in this movie, acting wise, and he's a great actor, but in this one in particular, he's playing twin brothers.
Yeah.
And it's obviously it's well put together and everything like that, but he does a good job of making those two guys feel like two separate people.
Yeah.
That obviously it's just him doing the same, it's the old, God, what was that Identical Cousins movie back in the day? Parent Trap.
Oh, the Parent Trap.
It's not like to that degree, but but in a way it is like, it's two brothers that have two, almost entirely different personalities.
Yeah.
They look very similar, obviously, because it's him, but you know what I'm getting at. Like,
yeah,
when you're watching it, you get lost in that. You
Yeah,
get lost
that's
in that.
true,
Like,
yeah.
this is two different dudes you're looking at. You're not thinking of it like it's one guy playing the same.
Well, also, like, there's been multiple actors that have also done that. Like, one that I think of that did really well was Tom Hardy in it was like a crime movie, Legend, from a few years back.
Yeah, that was good. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that was a good one. I mean, obviously, you said Parent Trap. Lindsay Lohan's done it.
Yeah,
even the old one from the
I'm blanking on her
60s or
name.
whatever.
Haley Mills. I think it was her name. Haley Mills.
I think that's it. Shit, it's probably less so, but Adam Sandler did it in fucking Jack and Jill.
God damn! What do you mean? Probably less so.
Well, let's kick it up a little bit better. Nicolas Cage did it in Adaptation.
Okay, there we go.
I mean, yeah. So it's been done, but this is just honestly, it's a masterclass.
I mean, Eddie Murphy played an entire family in.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say masterclass.
Yeah, but then
Eddie Murphy.
But then there's Eddie Murphy. Yeah, but you're right. I mean, like, this is like next level as far as, I mean, like, dude, I mean, I didn't look at the odds of, the breakdown. I just saw the best picture odds, but I would bet you Michael B. Jordan's got to be one of the favorites for best actor off of this.
Yeah, I don't know what the odds are.
Once again, I don't have the whole list of nominees and all that shit. I'm not going deep through that, but like in my mind, he's got to be pretty high up on the, I mean, like I said, he played two different roles.
Yeah, I actually did have this up, the best actor. I don't have the odds, but
you mean the other nominees?
Yeah, the other nominees are Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After
And he's
Another.
really good in it, no doubt.
Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon. I never saw it.
Yeah, but he's usually good in most things.
Timothy Chalamet for Marty Supreme.
So I haven't seen it.
And Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Yeah.
And I don't know who he is.
I mean, maybe I would recognize his face if I saw a picture, but no, I don't right offhand. But
I see a picture, but I don't. I still don't recognize him.
But I would imagine it would be, in my mind,
Leo
or Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me that they give it to him just because it's Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, well, cachet, right? We were just talking about that, but either way, both great in each movie. But he stands out in this movie for sure, Michael B. Jordan. And by the way, his he's playing twin brothers. One's named Smoke and the other one's Smokestack. So, obviously, you may know him from those two Black Panther movies we just talked about. He is Adonis Creed in those 3 Creed movies. But he was also, much earlier on in his career, he was in 13 episodes of The Wire, arguably one of the best HBO series ever created.
Yeah, I never watched it.
It probably, it may not hold as much gravity and weight as it did back when it came out, 20 plus years ago or whatever it is now. But great show if you ever have the time to watch like an older HBO series, dude. Go out of your way for like The Sopranos if you never watched that, or The Wire. I'm sure I'm the first guy to ever recommend The Wire to somebody, but yet, trust me, go check it out. Haley Steinfeld as Mary. That's, it's kind of like a little bit of a love triangle going on, I guess, between Smoke and Stack and this girl that they were raised with. She would probably be best known from True Grit, but more recently, she's been in the Marvel Disney Plus series Hawkeye. And she was also had that same part in that movie, The Marvels, the Captain Marvel movie. And she's also the voice of I think it's Gwen Stacy or one of them in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which both of those Spider-Man animated films are awesome. If you've never seen those, go check them out. But yes, and also, by the way, she just married Josh Allen, the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. So she's got that going. So if this acting thing don't work out,
yeah, she can just
she's taken care of.
Yeah.
I think she also sings too. I think she's had some albums or something in the past, but it's not my cup of tea. The old pop charts.
Yeah.
Jack O'Connell is in this as Remick. He's the lead vampire in this movie. He's been on a little bit of a roll here because last year alone he was in Sinners. Then not long after that, he like a couple months later, 28 years later came out. He's in that. Mm-hmm. And then just like last month or whatever, back in January or whatever it was, 28 years later, The Bone Temple came out and he's in that. So I think like his last 3 pictures are, pretty good. So he's on a little bit of a tear here, old Jack O'Connell. Miles Caton as Sammy. Best I can tell, I think this is like his film debut. He is, remember their little cousin that plays the guitar, right?
Yeah.
That's Miles
Sammy.
Caton.
Yeah.
Sammy, yeah. So this is like basically the first thing he's ever been in. So, I mean, I think considering that, great job, right?
It's refreshment time, and our refreshment stand is loaded with good things to eat. There's crispy, crunchy popcorn and hot, delicious buttered popcorn. Lots of candy and frosty, refreshing cold drinks. Why not treat yourself at the refreshment center now?
Kind of like you said, we do kind of spoil it at the end.
Yeah,
older Sammy is played by blues legend Buddy Guy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
yeah,
awesome little extra little tidbit. That if you know kind of thing. That holy shit, they got Buddy Guy to
that's awesome
to be in this. It also stars Delroy Lindo as Delta Slim. Now, you remember he's kind of the drunk piano player that they bring in, He was in, that dude's been in stuff since the 70s. He's a great character actor for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Notably, he was in Malcolm X. He was in Get Shorty, back in the 90s. But tons of television, tons of movies. Trust me, you know who Delroy Lindo is. And didn't I just read off, I think he was nominated as Best Supporting Actor? I can't remember whether I read that one or not. Maybe I'm wrong, but rewind it about 10 minutes and find out if you care to. I can't remember. But he's great in this movie. So yeah, it's all in all, dude, it's a great cast. No question. Great cast. That's all the background stuff that I had. Did you have anything else you want to bring up before we got into it?
No.
None.
No.
Whatsoever.
I really didn't look into it at all. Like I didn't,
background.
I didn't look into any background stuff.
The interesting thing about this movie, and I think this is the first thing that's going to come to mind when anybody that watches this is going to think about it in the future, is how this is 2 different movies. Wouldn't you say? Like the first, roughly. And I was actually paying attention to it because, like I said, this is the second time I watched it. So I knew what was going on now. So I was paying more attention to it. You're a full on, basically 42 minutes into this movie before anything you would call horror happens. And that's when Remick, the dude that's like the vampire, just shows up out of nowhere, like out of a cornfield in the daylight. So because he's a vampire, he's smoking, it's daytime.
Yeah.
So his body is smoking, right? And somebody's chasing him, and he goes up to this house. And then a few minutes later, he attacks the people in the house. And then that's when you realize, like, holy shit, this dude's a vampire, right? Like, he just attacked this dude, turned him, because the dude stands up, and he's got fangs and everything. So, okay, what the fuck? He's a vampire.
Yeah.
This all is like 45 to 50 minutes into the movie. Can you imagine going into this and not knowing anything at all? Like, nothing. You don't know this is a vampire movie. You don't know this is a horror movie. And that happens 45 minutes into the movie. You're like, what the fuck? Like,
there was probably somebody out there that was just
there had to be tons of people that just like, well, okay, Sinners. All right, we'll go check it out. And then like, for that first 40, 45 minutes, you're getting kind of like an old South period piece about, racism and shit that's going on in 1932 Mississippi, right? Like that's basically what the movie is. And all of a sudden, bam, vampires. You're like, what the fuck?
Well, I tell you, like some of the music kind of reminded me of "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou."
Yeah, well, just the vibe of
Yeah,
it,
just
the
the
old,
vibe,
the
the
old
old-
cars, just everything that they did there. You know,
Yeah.
that look and feel of 1932. You know,
Mhm.
but like, dude, if you didn't know, I'm telling you, like, if you hadn't seen a trailer, nobody warned you, like, oh yeah, by the way, this is a horror movie. You know, like, you'd be like that far into it, but what the fuck is this? You know, I don't know if you'd like that or hate it. I don't know, but you know, have you ever seen From Dusk Till Dawn?
Yeah, total.
Is this
Yeah.
is this not
It's almost.
is
yeah.
this not like the 1932 old South Mississippi version of
Yeah,
From Dusk Till Dawn? Right?
yeah. You can see it was certainly influence.
Hey, yeah, there's no way that Ryan Coogler didn't watch that and say, "Oh, one day, you know, I'm going to take this general idea and I'm going to, you know, do what I do to it, you know, change up the
Yeah.
time period and all that jazz." But holy shit, that like even the first time I watched it, I'm sitting there like, when that happens and then like it starts to kind of turn more like full vampire halfway through, I'm just like, this was fucking From Dusk Till Dawn. Like,
Mhm.
maybe just not as corny or as over the top as From Dusk Till Dawn. That's the only difference, you know? Which once again, I go back to the Oscar thing. Like, that's what surprises me so much that this got so much love because, yeah, that first 45 minutes or whatever is kind of your, you know, somewhat standard fare as far as a period type of movie and all that stuff, you know, the message and all that stuff. Then it just, it just becomes a vampire movie. How often are these Oscar favorites? Like a vampire movie? Like, you can name off the best vampire movie, whatever you consider the best vampire movie of all time. I don't know. The original Bela Lugosi Dracula. I don't know. Whatever you would
I don't
consider
know.
it. I don't know. Bram Stoker's Dracula, that actually did get some Oscar love. And I'm sure there's some others I'm blanking on. But like, none got this much love. Like, none of them. That's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the old trope, somewhat of a trope of like the movie starting with the aftermath?
Oh,
Like, And that's your only clue, by the way, that it has any, like, something funky's about to go down. Because remember, like, the very beginning of the movie is the guy that survives, Sammy.
Mhm.
He walks into the church of his dad, and he's got, like, a big scratch on his face, and he's clearly, like, had the shit beat out of him. And he's holding a guitar with
Like
just
what's
the
left
neck.
of it, yeah.
Just the neck of the guitar. So you know something has happened. And then it says one day earlier. And then you go back and
yeah,
fill in the blanks. So, like, that's your only clue of a horror.
yeah.
If that's any clue at all. You know, that first few minutes. All right, something bad's going to happen. That's
Yeah.
all you know. But you still don't know it's a vampire. Other than, like, maybe if you put together, he's got a big scratch on his face. Maybe. But
it's like claw marks on his face.
yeah. And you figure out what, you know, 2 hours later, you figure out what happened to him. But what do you think of that thing in movies where,
It's
like,
like bookending.
yeah, where we're going to show you basically kind of the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Now let's go back and fill in the blanks or whatever.
I mean, it's fine. I don't think it, takes you out of the movie at all. It just,
If anything, it leaves you like, okay, I want to see.
it's like
Yeah.
a hook.
Yeah, it is.
You know?
And that's exactly what it is, especially in this one. I mean, it always is, but especially in this one, it's like you're introduced to this character, something really bad happens to this kid. Now I need to figure out what happens.
Yeah.
And it, like I said, it takes you 2 hours to figure it out, but
Yeah.
I love that, like, when the twins come back to town, Smoke and Stack, and then, like, they're kind of setting basically what the premise of the movie is, like, at least at the beginning, is like these two twin brothers left town many years ago to kind of go ply their own wares, and they fell in with basically like Al Capone and the mafia in Chicago. And then they fast forward a handful of years, they kind of like they just left Chicago for whatever reasons, like the time of forgetting was getting, or whatever, they stole some shit. There was something there where, like, all right, time to get out of Chicago. So they decided to come back to their hometown there in Mississippi. They kind of set up shop with their own juke joint and sell their own illegal, because this is during Prohibition, right?
Yeah.
Sell their own illegal alcohol and all that stuff, and have a juke joint and all that stuff, and make money that way. And so that's your general setup and premise of the movie. But so they're kind of back there setting all their stuff up. And then there's this one scene where a couple of local dudes like try to take some shit out of the back of the truck. He just goes, he shoots the one dude in the ass. He's, oh, you shot me in the ass. And then the other kid's just kind of standing there like dumbfounded. And then he shoots him in the knee for his troubles, basically. Like, I can't have somebody walk away from this. Bam, just shoots him in the knee. So that was pretty good. And it is funny too, for like a dramatic movie. with so much horror and everything, there are those moments of levity, and that's the good part of Ryan Coogler's writing in this is I think like there is the proper amount of funny in there mixed in every now and then.
Yeah.
You know, there's little drips of comedy and stuff like that. That's another one of those scenes. Oh, by the way, I was talking about the like it's 40 something minutes in when the vampire finally shows up. He's being chased by like a group of Choctaw Indian vampire hunters.
I'll tell you, yeah.
And I put in the notes like, dude, I want that movie. Like, well, wait a minute here. Not to say I don't like this movie, but like, dude, that would be awesome. Like an ancient tribe or old tribe of like Choctaw Indian vampire hunters, because they clearly know what's up. They kind of like roll in. Have you seen this man? Nope. Good day. And then they leave and you never see him again. So like, we need more from those dudes, right?
And maybe that's a follow-up.
Maybe. I mean, well, he's at least laid the foundation for like, if he wants to go back to this, he easily can with that in my mind. Like, it's almost like some of that stuff that has happened in, the It movies where and then that, Welcome to Derry series that came out on HBO Max, where like they put enough Easter eggs and little things in there where you're like, okay, this movie or this show is awesome, but I want to see some of this prequel stuff or this, these other little ancillary characters and stuff like that. So yeah, that would be awesome. What did you think of that scene where so he's playing the guitar and he's kind of like conjuring the music of the past and the present. I love that.
That was
scene.
cool.
That was cool.
That was
like,
awesome.
Where it's like somebody from like an ancient African tribe is like over there. And then you look over here and then there's, it's like, what's his face from I'm blanking on his name. Like the guitarist from like Parliament Funkadelic is like playing guitar.
And then you had break dancers
and rappers and all that. So it's like every like kind of, subgenre of, black music over centuries, like he's kind of like, that's not just a cool scene. That actually plays into the story.
Yeah.
Because him doing that is actually what brings the vampires to him.
It like conjures them.
Yeah. Like they're already there. Right. But then like, I guess they catch wind of it because he is able through his music somehow. He has some, I guess in this movie has some special way of like playing so that it conjures up the past and the present and the future and everything like that. It's
also what his dad, the preacher, told him. He said, "You're going to summon the devil with that music of yours,"
and literally did. Yeah. Literally did. So it's not just a throwaway kind of like, oh, this is cool, like all these genres and time periods of music. No, it actually plays into the story of like, well, you fucked around. What's the old saying? Fuck around and find out, right? He did. He played the music in the juke joint, and then the fucking vampires show up. And that song that they keep singing. Pick poor Robin clean.
We
pick poor. I love that where he's like, we can play a ditty too, and then they all just like in concert just turn around and we pick. It's clearly like that hive mind thing of like he is controlling whoever he turns, because it happens again later in the movie when now he's turned, I don't know, 15, 20 people, and then they're all out there singing, singing
like
the
covered
song.
in blood, just like missing jaws.
Whatever happened to them at the end, that's the state they're in, and then they're pick poor Robin clean.
And it's there's like barbershop quartets that sing about just like the most vile and wretched stuff. And it kind of likens to
but I just love that like that, oh, we can pick the guitar too, and then they all just kind of swing around in concert. We pick poor. And clearly it's just two people that he just found like in a cabin and turned randomly. So like, you don't know what kind of musical skill they actually have, but it doesn't matter because this dude has so music once again plays a huge part in this, and that like it summons not only the past and present and everything, but it summons the vampires to them. And so Remick is the lead vampire. He wants this power. He wants Sammy because of this power, right? Because I think there's something about it can summon like the people that he's lost over the years. Something about that, like with your power of whatever it is you're doing, I can summon the people that I've lost over, I assume hundreds of years that he has lived. So that's why he wants them. So like now it kind of becomes one of those like, one of those movies that Smoke always talks about where they're locked in a certain position and they can't leave. Cause now they're in this juke joint. They're in this big building, and now the vampire, it's that old vampire trope of they can't come in unless they've been welcomed in.
Yeah.
So there's a line they can't cross unless you welcome them in. Once you invite them in, you're fucked.
Free will.
Yeah, exactly. So then it becomes that, like, it's us against them. Now the vampires are out there. We're locked up in here unless we invite them in. And of course, what do? You know,
Well,
it gets to that, but
yeah.
Mary goes outside and talks to them. Then she is turned into a vampire. Then she comes back in and kills and eventually turns Stack, one of the twin brothers, right? Yeah. So Smoke is the last one standing as far as the brothers are concerned. The kind of big dude that's like guarding the door, Cornbread. He goes out to take a piss or whatever and like disappears for like 10 minutes. Meanwhile, the shit goes down with Stack and everything. He comes back and now he's asking to be let in. So that's their cue. Like, oh shit, like what? You've been in and out of here all night. Why are you asking to come back in now? And then they realize that he is a vampire. So, but he turns into a vampire and then they start doing an Irish jig music circle. I forget even what song. It's just some old Irish tune they're singing or something. But all of them, no matter what,
dance and
they're all in like some kind of little music circle outside, jigging around doing the. But then Grace, what were they? They were Korean or I forget
something.
what. Yeah, Asian descent. Her and her husband. Her husband goes out. She realizes that he has been turned into a vampire. So now, like, she's out for blood. She wants revenge. She is the one that ultimately lets them in, like
because they threaten to go and turn her daughter into a vampire.
Her daughter is in town or whatever, and it's like like if you don't let us in, we're gonna go get her. So she lets them in, and then chaos ensues. Like that's where most of them get wiped out, honestly. In that scene right there, like she even charges out like with a Molotov cocktail and catches on fire herself.
Yeah,
as she's like running, I guess it's her husband or one of them. Yeah, she's killing one of the vampires, but she's on fire, burning out. Like it's just mass chaos. It's a cool scene.
Yeah.
But eventually, Smoke. There's the kind of the final showdown between Smoke and Remick. The lead vampire. Yeah. And he stabs Remick with the through the chest with the stake, and then it doesn't immediately kill him. It just kind of like he's kind of slowly dying as the sun rises. Yeah. And then the sun takes out him. And the rest of the vampires.
It's like a fire tornado that goes up into the sky.
It's way more dramatic than the rest because the rest of them are just kind of like, and then they burn to ash. But he's like, no, fire tornado, everything. But he is the lead vampire. But then there's also the fact that, remember, like I said, Mary and Stack, the brother, they were vampires too. Yeah. But apparently somewhere in there, they snuck off. They snuck away. And basically Remick and all the rest of the vampires are gone. Meanwhile, there's also this kind of, to me, felt kind of tacked on scene of the clan shows up. Well, like, the main story has been resolved here. Like, oh, by the way, the clan rolls up and then Smoke has to take them out, which, it's still a cool scene. Like, who doesn't like a good clan massacre, right? Like, to see the clan taken out, but like
to see the clan taken out. Let's make that,
well, that's what I meant. But he's picking them off, like sniping them from the bushes, jumps out and starts machine gunning them and shit. Like he takes them all out and then takes out the main guy or whatever. But they also manage to kind of, I think he gets shot and he gets clipped too, right? So he goes down too. And right before he dies, he sees his wife or his girlfriend, whoever she was, Annie. I think it was his wife, right?
I think it was his girlfriend or something.
There was some little sub story with her and him where like, they had a child, or she was pregnant, and I think she lost the child before it was born or whatever. And then, like, that's kind of why he left, because he didn't want to deal with that. So it swings back around. Annie has died in that vampire chaos of a few minutes ago. So when he's dying, the last thing he sees is Annie holding his unborn baby daughter right before he dies. So you get this nice kind of, closure for him in that moment before he dies. Then fast forward to 60 years later in the year 1992, where Sammy is now like an old blues guitarist. Like we said, that was
Buddy Guy.
Mm-hmm. And here comes Stack and Mary, the two vampires that ran off from the Night of Chaos. They come and visit him at the the blues club or whatever, wherever he's at. And I think one of the last lines or something like, before all that went down that night, that was the best day of my life. Yeah. And then like Stack basically agrees, like, that was the last time I got to see my brother. That was the last time I saw the sun and everything. So you kind of get that last cool final moment, you know.
He
And then
also-
they just said hey basically and then left, you know.
yeah. Was it Stack also? He looked at Sammy, and he just looked at him. He said, "Yeah, you don't have long left."
Yeah.
And he just basically told me he was going to die soon.
Yeah. Well, there is also that aspect of it too. Do you go all the way to the end credits? There was a little cutscene at the end of the credits where young Sammy, like now you go back to, you know, I assume he's in a church by himself and he's playing the guitar and he's playing This Little Light of Mine, you know, the old gospel song. And that's it though. Like he's sitting in a church by himself and he's not, he doesn't have like the scratch on his face or something like that. So I think it's one of those ones where it's like kind of left up to interpretation what you're looking at there. Like I saw, because I was kind of wondering myself, like what the hell? So I looked at some, you know, just some online for some interpretations, and one that I saw that it seemed like probably made the most sense is what you're seeing there is now he has died, like you just said, like he's hit the end of his life now. Now he's back in that church, and he's just sitting there
He's
playing
locked in that.
yeah, like
That
that's
setting.
that moment of this was the best day of my life kind of thing, right before the shit went down kind of thing. So maybe that's what you're seeing very, very briefly.
That's a good point.
You know, at the very end. So I think that's the theory, is that like basically what you see there is he's in heaven. At the very, he died, you know, he ran out of his life and he died in the end. So that's also the end for us. There you go. Sinners 2025. So Donnie, I'll let you go first. What do you think? What's your final thoughts and your star rating on this one?
Yeah, this one was, you know, I had avoided, you know, any teasers, any trailers, fortunately. You know, I'll say this. I think the accolades are great for the genre, for the horror genre. You know, Michael B. Jordan is incredible in this movie. The score is awesome. I think that, you know, is kind of overlooked. I don't think we talked about it a whole lot. But ultimately for me, you know, I feel like it could have been more, you know, it could have been, you know, I felt like they, you know, as a horror fan, I feel like this was a little bit too dramatic of, you know, too heavily drama, but that's, you know, Ryan Coogler isn't really known for his horror filmmaking.
And brevity either.
Yeah.
'Cause it seems like a lot of his movies are really long too, you know?
Yeah. And yeah, that's another thing. It is, to me, it's a little too long.
I agree.
And, you know, like I said, it's great to see horror getting its place on the award stage, but I don't think this is quite the movie for all of the hype and all of the accolades that it's up for. Not saying it doesn't deserve it. I'm just saying, you know, I feel like Del Toro's Frankenstein was a better display of what the horror genre is capable of in like Oscar-worthy material. So with all that, I'm, you know, I can't imagine seeing it again. It's not saying it's not good enough for me, but I'm going to say 2 3/4. I have my gripes, but overall I did enjoy it, but it's just not to the point where I would watch it again because the cat's out of the bag. There's no real, you know, revisiting for me.
You know, like I talked about with Frankenstein last week, what I do when I watch these movies throughout the year, I try to keep my own little list of like, well, this is what I'm thinking, like right after star ratings, right after I watch it, you know, so then I can revisit that later on. So when I watched this last year, I gave it 3 1/4 stars.
Yeah.
I can't say that I liked it or disliked it any more than I did at that point. So I think I'm going to stick with 3 1/4. It's a very well done movie. And for all the reasons we just said, if anything's going to drag it down for me is that it is a tad too long.
Yeah.
And the fact that like, it almost feels like it doesn't know what it wants to be in terms of like, it obviously he wants it to be a horror movie because it's a horror movie, but like it took so long to get there.
No.
You know, maybe a little less of that and a little more of the other side of it. Like, you know, if we're just picking nits, so to speak, like maybe make the movie a little shorter overall, cut out a little bit of that character development shit from the beginning, and let's just get to the vampire stuff a little bit quick. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we're horror fans, so obviously we want more. We want more of the things that we love.
So maybe that's
horror.
the beauty of this, is that he's trying to appeal to both. Like, if you're a drama type of person, you're probably going to appreciate it. At least that first half of the movie.
Character development a little.
You're going to appreciate the first part of that movie, not to mention the end, I think.
Yeah.
Like you'll appreciate the full circle moments and stuff and all. But, and not to say that I don't, it's just, I don't know. Like you said, you kind of want a little bit more of that. Because I don't think that disappointed, that vampire stuff. Because once you got to that, dude, it was bloody.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we don't have a gore score for it because Smoke didn't watch it. But, if he ever does, I mean, it'll be interesting. But I would say this is at least 6, 7 up, right? On the gore score, 0 through 10. This has got to be like 6, 7, 8 at least.
Yeah.
Just for that last hour of the movie. It's like, once it gets there, man, it's fucking, it's gory. So I'll give it props for that. And it's not something we see often with a movie with, we've never seen a movie with 16 Oscar nominations, but this gory? That'd be another thing too to look through. Like, how many Best Picture nominees have there been that are this gory? There can't be that many. There just can't be. In the 98 years? No fucking way. Because these are usually the ones like, they're going to brush off. They're never, meh. They're never going to pay attention to it that much, but meh. So yeah, anyways, 3.25. Now, Tiana gave it 2.5, so she's right around where you are with it.
Yeah.
So that means we're sitting at a 2.8 out of 5 stars. So I think that's enough to say we recommend. This is definitely worth at least one watch.
Yeah,
right?
it's worth a watch. Yeah.
Definitely worth one watch, and just for no other reason than some of these historical things that we've pointed out, all these nominations, all that jazz. So I think it's worth checking out. So there you go, Sinners from 2025. Before we close up shop, what was the kill count? She gave me a kill count number. I'll pull that up. But before we get to that, anyways, we got to do the connection. So what do you got?
Connections from the crypt.
All right, so on the cast side, Deneen Tyler, she was one of the party goers in the juke joint. She was in Deepwater Horizon. Really, when we did, was it the summer disaster movies?
Yeah, so that was almost a couple years ago now, believe it or not. Yeah.
And then also
by the way, it has, other than that was a disaster, but that was a disaster of a different kind. It had nothing to do with horror.
Yeah.
Other than the horrific events of that day, of this real life day.
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. And then on the crew side, we have makeup effects artist Kelsey Burke. She was she did, she was part of the crew for Malignant, Never Hike Alone, and Bone Tomahawk.
Wow. Never Hike Alone, a fan film.
Yeah.
But yeah, you actually got probably not going to be too many connections from that.
No, but we did find one.
Yeah, there you go.
Her.
I found the number that Tiana sent me. The kill count was 134.
Damn.
Now, if you think back on this movie, I can believe it. And that, I would assume most of that comes from all the people that were at the juke joint that night. Yeah. They all left, basically just ran away into the woods screaming. And then I'd say most of them returned as vampires.
Yeah.
Right? So
probably. That's
probably where that number comes from, I would imagine. Just that. So, yeah, there you go. Well, that's where we'll leave it. Sinners. So, like we said, this was kind of our Oscar preview, so to speak. So we will see between last week and this week with Frankenstein and now Sinners. We'll see next weekend. And maybe once the Oscars are through, whatever episode, however that all times out for us, we can swing back around and see how these movies did. In particular, Frankenstein and Sinners. I think there are a couple other ones that we have our eyes on, as far as the Oscar watches, horror related. But yeah, we can swing back around to that whenever that happens, and onward and upward to next week. Because, well, actually, before we get to next week, I always almost forget about this every time this happens. This week we have a bonus episode, so you're getting 2 for 1, so to speak, this week on the Spook Show. This Friday, just like last month, happens to be Friday the 13th. So, because it is, as our tradition has been over the last couple of years, when there's a Friday the 13th, we're going to give you a bonus episode. But not only that, we're going to give you a Friday the 13th movie. And we have worked our way up. Last month, we watched Friday the 13th, the final chapter, which, technically is the 4th movie. So that means we're moving on to part 5. Friday the 13th, A New Beginning from 1985. So we'll be talking about that this Friday. So you want to check wherever you're listening to the podcast or over on the YouTube channel, you can go to aaspookshow.com. Sorry, to figure out where that's going to be. It'll probably be over on YouTube, but at the least, wherever you're listening to this podcast on your podcast feed, it'll pop up there. But then Monday, we're going to be celebrating St. Patrick's Day a day early with a very loose connection to Maniac Cop. That's right. Next Monday, Maniac Cop, the 1988 cult classic. We'll be talking about that because it's St. Patty's Day, and we'll tell you how that connects. It's an obvious connection once you get to it, but it barely connects otherwise, right?
Yeah.
But we'll be talking about that next week, and then onward and upward. Before you know it, we'll be having a little celebration of 1986 next month. That's a little tease for that. We're going to be talking about that as we get closer to it. And then this summer, we're in the planning stages of our big summer event. So you don't want to miss out on anything in the land of the Spook Show. Go over to aaspookshow.com. Like I said, go check out all the stuff over on YouTube, including Grindhouse Gutter, the New Look Video Vortex, and Hammer Horror in order. Those are 3 series that we do every month over on our YouTube channel. And we also encourage you to become a patron of the Spook Show by going to patreon.com/aaspookshow. Get in on that. You get the episodes early, tons of bonus content, tons of stuff archived over there from stuff we've been doing for years and years. So lots of cool stuff for you there. Helps out the Spook Show. You get extra stuff for it. Win-win, right? So that's it. So for the Professor Smoke and Tiana, Donnie, I'm Josh. We are the All-American Spook Show, and we'll talk to you next week.